All right, welcome everyone. I am so excited to lead this event today. It's so fun to have those of you live here with me. And this is just such an important and necessary part of our journey as women in embodying our feminine power. So before we get started, I'd love to just hear from you. This entire training is about reconnecting to the seductress archetype within. We are going to do a specific activation to get in touch with your unique seductive frequencies, because every woman has her own way of leading these energies. But before we get going, I also want to hear from you what your blocks are to this. So when you hear the word seduction, and this is what we're going to start with. When you hear the word seduction, if you can share in the chat, what comes up for you? What are the perhaps good things, feelings that you have? And what are some of the maybe resistances that you have? And we'll just start by kind of journaling on this through the chat. If you're here live, I won't mention your name out loud since this will be on the replay, but it would be great to have your input during this as much as possible. And you'll also get the most out of the training by doing that. So we'll start with that. And yeah, so we'll just start with that. Hi. Oh my gosh, amazing. Good morning. It's 5:30 here in Hong Kong, and I just woke up naturally on the spot to join. Amazing. Sending big love and support. Awesome. Can't wait to go deep into the seductive frequencies. Amazing. Yeah, if you want to share where you're from, that's always amazing to hear where everyone is in the world. Some insecurity about if seduction means that it's cut off from love. Amazing. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Fear of intimacy and feeling like I don't really deserve to be that seductive woman. Like it's not in the cards for me, but I have a deep, deep desire to embody that frequency. Like it literally is one of my biggest dreams. Amazing. This is the perfect place to be then. What else? What else are some of the blocks that you feel? Or why did you sign up? Why are you here? So as those come in, I want to talk about why we're here doing this training. So the clients that I work with and the audience here, this community of elevated women that has been building over the last 5 years into an incredible group of women, all of you I resonate with so much. Obviously, you wouldn't be here if you didn't resonate with me. We resonate together. There's a reason that we're all connected. And what I am teaching, what I often teach comes from the process of learning and healing from my own journey. Being in many ways like placed on this planet, I've felt to experience the extremes of these nuances and processes and to alchemize them and transform them and support those of you who tune in and resonate with this work and are really on the journey of becoming the most powerful woman that you can be. And what I'm learning, what I've discovered is that there's a gap and there's missing pieces for us that are related to seduction and related to embracing our sensual and sexual energy in the most powerful way we possibly can. So I'm going to read a couple more that came in. Okay, seductress means a lot to me. And what's coming up is that the energy goes deep, deep into my sacral chakra and root chakra. In order to be true to my seductress, to honor her, I have to be brave and break boundaries that resonate, to resonate with her. Amazing. So I feel like you're tuning into her unique expression and essence. And that's going to be something to like really, really tune into and master, is what are your seductive superpowers? And again, every single person has their own unique, every woman has her own unique way of expressing that. Okay, someone else is sharing, seduction also means vulnerability to me. That's sometimes a challenge when relating to men, being free to be open and seen. Beautiful. Amazing. Okay. So what we're going to cover in this training today is one, the seductive, the activation itself, the woman, the girl in the black silk dress. And actually that's just a name that represents I'm not even going to tell you about that yet, but that activation is going to help you get in touch with your unique essence, seductive essence. We're also going to go into some of the big mistakes that I see women in this community making when it comes to relationships and relating to men, communicating with men, and applying the feminine energy that we've been working on embodying all of these years. We're going to go into some of the secrets of seduction, and just really, really touching in on some of her powers in a deep way. And if there's time, we're going to get into some specifics on communicating with men. Okay. Throughout the whole process, as much as you want to share, that's really helpful, and it just creates an engaging environment. Okay. Bravery is the breakthrough I feel like I have to commit to in order to stand up for her. She does feel misunderstood in the world, but very often I feel huge swaths of powerful energy that buzzes through me for a full day at times from her. Very positive energy that can carry me through whole days. That's beautiful. Amazing. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm going to share a bit about my story, and why we're now, like, why I'm teaching on this at this point. So many of you have been with me for a long time, maybe since the beginning, 5 years. And when I first started Elevated Woman, we worked with the 6 main divine feminine archetypes: the Seductress, the Maiden, the Princess, the Queen, the High Priestess, and the Goddess. And these were the original archetypes that we worked with to awaken the divine feminine frequencies. And what we do here in this space is owning that in order to fully be in our feminine power, feminine energy is about dynamic change. It's about shape-shifting, transformation, seasons, tides, phases. It's change, it's transformation. This is the essence of the goddess. Whereas the masculine energy that counteracts and that we ultimately crave is the static, consistent, stable, never changing, single pointed, grounded force. So with, like, for example, a form of dance that I do called S Factor, we work with pole. It's not like pole dancing like you probably have seen it in the past. It's incredibly powerful. But the pole represents the masculine. The chair represents the masculine. It's stable, it's stationary, it's strong, it is hard. And what happens in our bodies as women when we're around that force is it polarizes us into our femininity, into that divine feminine, sexual, sensual energy. But this is the thing. Most of the women that resonate with me, there's like, it's kind of like a certain archetype. We are deeply, deeply connected and committed to the spiritual path. That's our number one commitment in life. It's what draws us. It's our purpose. We are here doing the utmost deepest work on ourselves, not just for ourselves, but for the whole world. In that commitment, we move through initiations. We move through hard stuff. And it's stuff that is never too hard for us, but it will push us. It does push us. We value depth because the journey has taken us to those places. And that depth is a incredible source of our power. We know it intimately. Another thing about us that I have discovered, and this may or may not resonate with you, but this is just kind of the archetype that I'm going to be speaking to today. You can pick up pieces that feel right for you and let go of the ones that don't. But there is an intention of goodness and purity. And that comes from the divine power of our hearts, and divine femininity being something that it's the essence of purity. And this could be the purity of rage and anger, or it could be the purity of joy and peace, but it's pure. It's the purest of energies. And that is something that the women in this space hold so deeply. We are the high priestess in the essence that we very much bridge the material world and the spiritual world. We're not just about the physical matter. Without spirit, without our connection to the divine, this life means nothing to, I mean, it's not that it means nothing to us, but we're not connected to who we are. We're not ourselves if we're not rooted in our spiritual connection. So this may or may not resonate with you. If it does, feel free to share in the chat, like, yes. But I'm pretty sure it does with most of you, especially I know some of you who are here. There's many more ways that we could go into describing this archetype that, at least on some level, you may resonate with. But yeah, okay. But there's also a couple pieces where there's a few threads of mistakes. I don't want to say mistakes, they're continuous challenges that we face. And awesome, I'm hearing yes, I had goosebumps with those words. Amazing. Yes, it resonates. Awesome. So, and these are often, they're challenges. We're going to specifically talk about the challenges related to love, related to relating to men. It's like, we know at this point our beauty. You know your beauty. You have done the work to connect to your spiritual beauty, your energetic beauty. And it doesn't mean that you may not have moments where you question it or feel like you're not valuable or whatever. Those things can happen. But there's still this like block when it comes to love and relating to men. And this block can show up. It can manifest as the experience of anxiety, of over attaching yourself to men prematurely or inappropriately. It could show up as an avoidance. It could show up as just like your body being shut down and saying no. It could show up as like sexual, physical blocks, insecurity overall in yourself as you talk to and communicate with men. If you're in a relationship, it can just show up as these like emotional wounds continuously, kind of like the wounds that you're dealing with showing up in the relationship in a way that are sort of sabotaging your intimacy and dynamic and connection. I wrote down as I was writing and preparing for this session, some quotes were coming through, and one that was really, really powerful is, where is it? There's a lot of notes here. It's, okay, I'll just remember it. If you'll continuously move into your, into masculine energy control, if you don't know how to be in control in your feminine energy. So that's another thing that many of you are working on, is how to be in your feminine energy in an effective way. And what happens when we don't know how to do this is we will resort to being in control, but it's like a masculine way. And one of the things that the Seductress teaches is actually that we are meant to be in control in a lot of ways in the process of sex, love, and relationship. And if you think about it, why would the woman not be having a massive and effective influence? We are a deep source of wisdom and energetic value that cannot be replicated. We bring something special and unique. So for us not to own and learn how to be in control in appropriate ways is really denying our purpose here. But we get to learn how to be in control in a feminine essence way, in a way that does not come into like combat masculine energy. So if you're in masculine energy control, you're going to continuously butt heads with your masculine energy partner. But feminine energy control actually elevates his power, and it works more as like it's a very fluid and how do I say it? It's just it weaves in and out, and you continuously bring out the best in each other. So that's something that we really get to work on. Okay, so again, do those resonate with you? Some of those as the challenges that we're kind of facing as a whole in this community. Is that something that you feel like you're consistently struggling with? Another thing I'll see is just like not getting the kind of attention that you want from men. These are, not getting the kind of attention that you want from men, not sustaining that attention, feeling like not the chosen one, like there's always another woman who maybe appears more beautiful or just has that energy that is capturing his attention. What else? Okay, so there's other things, and maybe throughout this we'll kind of tap into some more of those challenges, but those are some basic ones that I see as patterns that we're working with. Okay, so then I'm going to share a little bit about my story. Okay, great, awesome information. As I was going to at the beginning. So we worked with the divine feminine archetypes, and these came from my own journey of recognizing the level of masculine energy programming that I had and conditioning I had in my life, to the point where, my early experiences as a teenager in high school and college was just always being like, what is that girl doing that I'm not? And I thought it was because I wasn't beautiful enough. I thought it was because of all these reasons that other women were being chosen by these guys. And of course, I was driven to learn why that was, because I wanted to be in a relationship and I wanted to be powerful, because I think, as human beings, we desire power. It's just part of our nature. But as I went on that journey, I learned that I wanted true power. I wanted a power that was rooted in truth and spirituality. And that was the only thing that would ever work for my system, because of who I am. And purity is very, very important for my field and my soul and my aura. So I stepped on this path seeking true divine feminine power. And it first led me and us to the divine feminine archetypes, those 6 that I mentioned earlier. And those archetypes really help to unlock the dormant aspects of our femininity. So the princess, for example, brings out the joy and the lightness, the flirt, the play, the experience of being absolutely adored and protected and loved and cherished. Some of these energies being things that some women haven't ever experienced. So the princess archetype, working with her and bringing her into your life, ignites those frequencies in your life and in your body, and you begin to master those energies as a woman. And then working with, let's go into the maiden. So the maiden being this pure, soft, very gentle, patient, quiet, subtle, absolute the essence of purity and innocence, but there's like erotic innocence to her as well. So again, that's another side of our feminine power. And with those archetypes, we awaken these pockets of femininity. And all of a sudden, we are accessing expressions of ourselves that were perhaps uncomfortable for us to express in the past. That's really the power of those original archetypes. And it's they're working with those archetypes that when you really master that, you will master what I call the first stage of sex. And that is the attraction of men. It's having many men in your life, in your field, who are drawn to you, who are fighting for your attention, who are wanting to court you, who are showing up and providing for you in ways, giving you things, doing things for you, wanting your time, fighting for your attention, showing off to you, all these things. And that is something that I used to not experience, and now have experienced that consistently for the last 3 or 4 years of just 4 years, really being that woman, being the woman that gets all the attention in the room, being the woman that when you walk in, there's a change of energy because you are bringing something that is rare and unique. You're bringing these aspects of femininity that in like a full spectrum way that are rare in many ways. Learning how to be in that energy or have access to that power appropriately is a whole other journey. And that's something that I've also been learning over the last 3 years, is once you have unlocked that ability to magnetize and attract, what do you do with it? How do you show up and engage in those dynamics in a way where you actually, because it's very easy to lose all your power if you don't have a level of intentionality and integrity with this feminine energy and power that you have. It can instantly go, depending on how you, depending on some of the wounds that you hold. So if you do have wounds, we will be, it's many ways where like we know how to attract now, but with the wounds still present, we will be kind of sucking up that attention and energy because we need it for validation. And we can misuse the energy of man. We can misuse masculine energy. So a more advanced embodiment of that is to, it's like really learning how to, how to really work with like the queen frequencies, because the queen is the one that teaches us to, and the maiden, all of them will teach us different ways. They all hold this elegance. Every single one of those archetypes holds an elegance, and it's through those kinds of frequencies that we actually learn how to contain our energy and be incredibly intentional. But I'm just giving you a little bit of hints on like, we're just going into a little bit of like the content of like that part of sex. That part of sex is the first step. We have to learn how to magnetize. We have to learn how to attract men. And it goes beyond physical beauty. I have become more beautiful over the years because of what I know about myself and who I am, who I've committed to being, what I believe about myself and my life. It has made me more beautiful. And the confidence doesn't necessarily come from my physical beauty. My confidence comes from what I am committed to for myself and for my life. But all of those things contribute to being this incredibly magnetic flower as you walk into this world and you share your scent and your essence with the world. You truly become this gift because it's rare. It's rare to experience that. And that's what we learn in this. That's what I hope to teach in these spaces and communities is, you know, supporting us all to become that powerful. And I know you guys have been integrating this. Okay. Learning how to harness the wild power and energy is what's coming up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's like, I call it like the erotic wave. So it's this or magnetic wave. There's a wave, there's a magnetism to it. There's a wave to it where you can touch it, you can touch in, you can place it, and then you can like pull it back. And there is like a strategy to that seduction. Let's see. Acknowledging that my sexual power and indeed our collective femininity is positive and not to be brittled. That's been my journey, being open to your teachings. I love that. Thank you. So exactly, like when we aren't comfortable being that powerful, or when we see a woman being that way and we feel annoyance or resistance to her, something that has really helped me is recognizing if I ever feel jealous in any single way, which is rare, but it's sometimes, things, little things will pop up. There is something that woman is embodying that my system is ready to allow myself to as well. So that's, if there's a resistance that you have to a woman, or there's jealousy, anything like that, you can ask yourself, what about her do I not allow myself to be? And like get to know, and that can be kind of these like green flags of, oh, I need to go in that direction a little bit. Okay. So I want to talk about like us as this kind of collective archetype and the resistance that we can have to being this seductress. For me, I had a block because the women that I saw that were captivating and seductressy I had a judgment toward them as being more material and superficial. There's so much focus on like their physicality and just really like leading with that sex energy. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's effective. But I had a judgment toward that. I on a resentment. Oh, I love you and your teaching. Thank you. Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much. Oh, it's so special to be here. Yeah, I'm super excited to talk to you guys about like a shift that I've been having around our community and my clients and how I want to work with you guys, because it just fits me more. And anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, so I had this judgment and a resentment. Really what it ended up becoming is a resentment, because the men that I wanted and was attracted to, so cute. I love you. I will never pay any other coach, only you. You're so, that's, yeah, too much. So sweet. So, oh gosh. The resentment that I ended up noticing I had, this resentment toward men, because I was like so annoyed that there was a bypassing of the spiritual energy, which I knew I had. I knew I had this depth and intention and intentionality and exquisite, deep power, the spirituality. And I had programmed myself, and I still stand by that depth of our value being in our essence and our spirit and our energy. That's the source to true power, and any material physical thing without that depth can only get so, you can really only get so deep and connected and intimate without that. But so we have that. I know you guys have that depth, but if there are blocks to fully owning your sexual power, your beauty, expressing your sexuality and leading with that energy, we are actually not fully in our power yet. And the mastery of seduction is a sign of feminine maturity. What's really special about you is not only do you have, not only if seduction feels like something that you're comfortable with in some ways or not, what's really powerful is through learning the depth of this, which we'll be getting into a little bit today, and I'll share more about how to go deeper in this. You have the depth, and bringing that with the physical, the energetic and the physical combined is, there's just no words. It's not only is it rare, but it is incredibly powerful and healing. So I have a coach that I love, Amanda Francis. She's like a money coach. And one of her things that she says over and over and over again, she's like, I want money in the hands of good intentioned, powerful women. That's her mission. And what I want is sexual power in the hands of good-hearted, pure, deep women. Because it is that sexual power that sometimes we may have some resistance to fully embracing and owning, that I've been discovering can be our gap. Okay, so we went through the first stage of sex, which is the attraction, the magnetism, being the flower, and having all those bees buzzing around you, fighting for your nectar and for your essence. And let's see. Or the peacock, really in the world of nature, it is the male animal that fights for the attention of the female. But in the dating world, it doesn't seem to be that way, right? Have you guys noticed that? So part of what we're going to be working on shifting today is a mindset entirely where you recognize that the essence of the seductress, one of her absolute embodiments, is that she is the one who chooses. She is the one who chooses, period. She is the one who chooses who hunts her. She is the one who chooses who mates with her. She is the one who chooses who courts her. She is the one with the green light inviting her mate in. Okay. So the second stage of sex is the process of choosing and selecting, of all the options out there, who you want to mate with, who you want to seduce. And this is a big paradigm shift ultimately, because if you're regularly experiencing in your dating life and having the experience where you are fighting for a man's attention, you're getting anxious about his interest in you, you're second guessing everything that you say and do, there's a level of that's like just excitement. But when it brings you anxiety and fear and upset and hurt and pain and all those things, you're losing your power at stage 2 of sex. And this is the stage that the seductress, it's really her job to step in. So that's what we really want to work on, is beginning to shift where we become a master of stage 2, because stage 2 is the stage between when you have all these options around you, which is the first step, but then you select and you choose. And then the process of securing that partner, which is a real thing, that is, it's strategic, and there is strategy behind it, actually. And if there's resistance to that, notice it, because strategy, another word for strategy is intentionality. So let's see. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about some of the mistakes I see people making at this stage specifically. One sec, I'm going to plug in my computer. I brought my charger, but I didn't actually plug it in. So I am going to do that really quick. All right, so touching the live wire of Shakti, both in the universe and in myself, both has been the awakening of the full power for me through power on of my deepest core with your teachings. The breakthrough through any blockage that might be there in the present, past, and future is somehow instant. I feel all the time and space when you awaken, my awakening to this inherent and instinctive power. The truth lies within us. that as soon as I recognize and acknowledge that power within me, stay true to my core, a full-on positive emanation of power and sweet nectar come through me. And suddenly I'm no longer in a hurry for true love to come. That the resonance of my power is the calling card. And the only activation is when I believe in her. It's been such a journey for this lesson to come. Oh, that is gorgeous. I love it. So awesome. So, we're going to skip to stage 3 and then come back to stage 2. Stage 3 of sex is sex. It's when you're actually in that intimate partnership and relationship. And it was funny. I recently had this realization. Well, as I've been working with the Seductress more deeply, I realized that my original level 3 feminine activation trainings is when the Seductress embodies all of the archetypes in the bedroom. So the Seductress channels the priestess, the Seductress channels the princess, the Seductress channels the goddess. And we learn how to bring forth the different dynamic feminine energies in sex. And it's so powerful. But what I discovered is there's actually, and I kind of was like the Seductress or Tantrika, and the Tantrika is a sexual healer. She's a priestess in many ways, but specifically for sex, the art of sexual healing. And she works with the power of the feminine as the void, her womb, her heart, her hands, her whole body being that bridge between spirit and matter. And she can actually transmute and alchemize energy through her sexuality and through her body. So there's some really deep teachings on this, and I will, there's some ways I can show you how to get there. But the point is, I originally made that level 3 about the Seductress, but I realized that was more of the Tantrika because it was in the bedroom. The Seductress is the stage, the archetype that we're working with when we're in that super fun, playful, exciting, falling in love stage. And that's the stage that so many of the women in this community are struggling with. It's the hook and the confidence at that point. And without the power and the embodiment of the Seductress, again and again and again, we can have the experience of perpetuating old pain and suffering where those old wounds are popping up. So is that resonating? Do you guys feel like that part of the process where just you keep experiencing heartbreak, or you experience your hopes rising and then falling, or you're getting that overly attached, that kind of thing? So this is where our energy is leaking. If you want to learn how to bring all these energies into the bedroom and channel, I said that's something I do, and it's very, very fun. There's teachings on that, and later on I'm going to talk about them because there's a whole journey that I'm going to be going through with some of you, and we're going to be working with the Tantrika. But the point is awakening the Seductress energy. That's really one of the key steps. So some of the mistakes I see my clients making right now. Okay. Following the rules of feminine energy to a T and writing off men who aren't being perfectly in their masculine. If you think about the kind of man that you really want to be with, do you think he's spending hours and hours and hours of his time studying how to be a masculine man? Or do you think he's out there building businesses and houses and who knows what? And in his passions of nature and surfing and rock climbing and mountaineering, hunting and all these things, is he going to the gym? Like, your ideal man most likely isn't spending a ton of time on this. And we do. And that's aligned. That's not bad. It doesn't mean that we're desperate. It's actually in alignment because it's wise for the woman. It's wise for the feminine to master this art. It's our wisdom that draws us continuously back to learn these teachings, because there's what we're going to talk a little bit about later as well is we are the activation. We are getting activated through this journey and this process, but then we become the activation. We become the one igniting the transformation. Men, in my first podcast ever, I have a podcast now and I'm so excited about it, but I talked about how a few months ago I had one of the most incredible downloads, and it was really about how as women we have been on this journey of growth and expansion and elevation and all these things, and we've gotten really high, but at a certain point, this is the download was that we are going to plateau in our healing until we have the masculine right there with us. And it's through him meeting us there where it's really, you can see it as like his hand reaches down and grabs us, and then we rise up together. That we can only go so high without our men. We need them for these final stages of awakening. So what I see, I predict, and I've been accurate about this so many times in all these years, that the next thing that we're going to be seeing over the next 5 years is a mass awakening of the divine masculine. We really are going to see that. But what you can position yourself as through this work and through these teachings is to be an incredible influence in that awakening happening. Sex is actually a part of it. We would not be, there's a reason that men are so drawn to us sexually. And if you have resentment around that, then there's a lot of power to reclaim in healing that wound. There's a reason for it. And we get to learn what I'm calling the spiritual practice of seduction. The spiritual practice of seduction is one of the biggest gifts we can give this world, because it's the way the divine feminine influences the world. Also, men dream to be seduced. Men crave a woman that has the power to seduce him, but rarely find it. Or if they do, often it's not combined with the deep, meaningful spiritual aspect. And that's the richness that the soul of man, the soul of humanity, the soul of woman, we're all seeking that. We're seeking the truth. We're seeking true power, and we've often only reach about that much power, but the true power is so much bigger. It's the combining of the physical and the energetic, the material and the spiritual. So this is one of the things that if you have anxiety with like texting men or dating, what I see a lot of women doing is when a man's not acting appropriately, when he's not initiating the dates, when he's not texting her consistently, when he's not doing something that he should be doing if he was really a masculine, healthy man, then we have pain come up, and we get frustrated and annoyed because here's another guy that you think is attractive and you've had excitement about who isn't showing up in his masculine power. Is this resonating with you? I'd love to hear it. Yeah. Okay. So, and then we write off those men, and we will, get frustrated and angry and upset and just be like, often maybe tell them off or whatever. This is a mistake we are making, because the truth is that if we were really in our power, they can do whatever they want, and it doesn't aggravate us. It doesn't ignite, charge, and trigger. This is what I work on in my healing sessions, is completely clearing that charge and trigger from these historical wounds or informational triggers. Because to really be in that empowered feminine energy, we need to be able to not be so reactive and instead get curious. It's the curiosity and the lack, and when we take away the assumption, assuming bad attention and bad intention from our men in our life, that we can actually penetrate that guard that man can have. We underestimate how focused they are. We underestimate how single-pointed they are in their life. And we take it personally so often, but most of the time it's really, 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 really not personal. So it's incredibly important and paramount for us to clear away any part of us taking that personally, or thinking that we have to, and the reason that it's so painful is because there's a part of us that's still consenting to a life and a possibility where we don't get our needs met. That's why it's so triggering. But if you don't consent to that anymore, people can do what they do, and it has literally no impact or effect on you. If there's a teeny tiny part of you that's still believing or dreading your future because you have allowed your future to possibly contain an experience where it's not satisfying, then these things can be very triggering. But when you clear out that and you very much do not consent to that, then again, it's a lot easier to not take things personally. People can do what they do. You can get curious, and through that curiosity, you can disarm, and you can get into the heart of man, and you can figure out what's going on for them. How hard is your life? Is your life hard sometimes? Is it challenging to be an adult and to be in your responsibility and to navigate everything? It's hard. It's not different for men. It's just as hard. This makes me want to cry. And we're so hard on them. But they are doing their best too. So when we stop expecting men to be perfectly in their masculine and instead treat them like a human, for one, we let ourselves off the hook to being perfectly feminine, and that's extremely alleviating to our anxiety. But also, we bring in naturally the feminine energies of compassion and warmth and love and the healing force that, if you think about your dream partner, like, is he not going to need that from you? Is he not going to absolutely adore and respect and cherish this soothing energy that you bring into his life? So, okay. Yeah. So this is a great comment. It feels like it impacts our self-worth, and that's why it's triggering. If we are outsourcing our self-worth and we're letting someone else's behavior reflect back to us who we are, then we're going to live a life that feels very, very uncomfortable. This is like something I work on a daily basis. And but like last weekend, I had a moment where I was at a dance party, and I was just like, my energy was just a little bit. Anyway, the point is I was allowing myself to consider myself being seen by the outside world in a way that didn't feel good. And the moment I was like, oh, I am consenting to other people seeing me in a way that's not me. And the moment I was like, I don't consent to that I am who I am, period. And people don't even have the power to see me like that. My field, I inform the world who I am. I inform the world who I am. And anyone who tries to like inform me of who I am, it's like an electric fence that's way out there. They come and they get shot like even farther. So I don't do like live Q&A on these calls, but if you want to ask another question, you can in the chat, or ask a question, you can in the chat. So, oh, that's better. So much better. Okay, so I kind of need to keep moving through these things. Okay, being so serious, using scripts, not showing true feelings and emotions, hiding what's really going on, and the fear of being displeasing. This is a massive mistake women are making. In order to embody the seductress, you have to be willing to be displeasing. You have to be willing to be displeasing to man. You cannot just be pleasing and be seductive. No. There's an edge to the seductress, and she will never cross it. She will never cross a line. And that line is what's right and good and aligned for her. Trying to get men to choose you instead of truly instead of deciding on a man. When you actually decide who you're going to allow to hunt you, everything changes. Everything changes because you are consenting from the beginning. And that's another sign of if you're losing your power in that stage 2 of sex, is if you're feeling ambivalent about the men that are in your field. If you're feeling resistant, or you like this and that quality of this person, this and that quality of that person, but you're allowing yourself to consider them as possibilities when really they're not, but you are feeling like, well, no one else is showing up, so I have to consent potentially I need to try. I should give this person a try. That's not you being in the seductress energy. Your body has said no. Your body has said, no, I don't want this person to hunt me. I don't want this person to claim me. But then you keep spending your energy and time on those individuals who are in your field. You can let them be in your field, but when you find someone that when someone comes along that is a full body yes, it changes everything. And you're going to know that. I wish I had figured that out earlier, but you're going to know that. And it's a whole different ballgame. So what I just want to say about that, and one of the mistakes that we're making is, you're trying to get men that you don't even really want to choose you. And it's a huge drain of our energy. So the seductress, that's the opposite of what she does. Okay, and then if you don't have the power of seduction activated, your feminine energy mastery will fall flat. So it does not matter how connected you are to your feminine energy, how much you've mastered the frequencies, how much you bring them to the world. It does not matter, because in the end, that stage 2 of seduction and all that we master in that stage is what brings your powers to life. And that's why I think there's this block in our community, is because there's resistance to really, really owning her completely and fully. Okay, good. Oh my gosh, big aha moments with those examples. Incredible. So any comments or questions at this stage? I'm going to just take a moment. Oh, I wish I had water with me. All right, so we're going to go into the activation. And oh, I love it. Resonating soundly with you, washing over me like a gong bath. I love that. Okay, so we're going to move into the activation. And what I want to, yeah, we're just going to move straight into the activation. So we talked about a lot of the blockages. We talked about some of the mistakes that we're seeing. We talked about the resistance that we have toward the seductress and these common mistakes that we're making. And now we're going to move into the seductress archetype activation, where this specific activation is designed. I call it the girl in the black silk dress, but that is more symbolic of, I was thinking of leading that activation, but then I realized that the reason that I called it that is because of what I saw in my own journey, in my own process of being with her. More recently, I had a really powerful journey, but I realized that archetype is not going to be everyone's form of seduction. So we're actually going to go into a space where you will be able to recognize you'll discover your unique expression of seduction and your unique, your essence and superpowers in this. So for this activation, I recommend just leaning back into something that you have, lean back into a chair, pillows, bed, whatever. And you don't have to like sit up straight or anything, just really let yourself lean into some support behind you. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. I just take a deep breath in. And let it go. And take a couple more rounds. So you close your eyes and you drop into your heart and your body. Begin to feel the rhythmic pulsation of your heart. Even if you don't feel your heartbeat, connect to the beat. Connect to the blood coursing through your body and the energy moving through all of your meridians. With your breath, as you breathe deeper, begin to feel this energy turn on and expand and move deeply and quickly through your body. It's as if your energy is getting more powerful. Your Shakti force is getting stronger. I want you to imagine that you are in a big room at an event. It's like a dinner party, a fancy gala, or just a fancy dinner party event. It could be a gala, it could be not a gala, but just an event where there's a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of men. There's a busyness, you're out. You're dressed up. I want you to notice what you're wearing at this event. How your hair is, how you did your hair, your makeup. Notice the smoothness of your skin. If you're If what you're wearing is unclear, that's okay, because we're going to get more clarity on it. But just take in the surroundings, hearing the people. Looking around. And a few times through the night, there have been men who have come over to you or tried to capture your attention in some way. And maybe some of them are handsome, or they're successful, or they're really kind. But there's just not a feeling of excitement in your body. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. Releasing those men from your field. And then you see that at the front door of this event, at the entrance, a man walks in all by himself. And he does capture your attention. I want you to notice his presence. And the way he looks. Reading into his mind and the way he thinks. And his body and his energy. Taking in all of his presence. Sensing into his soul and his heart, the depth of who he is, and his spirit, his essence. I want you to notice now that he has entered the room, notice if your outfit changes. What are you wearing now? Maybe it stays the same. Just become aware of how you're dressed and your hair, your makeup, your lips, your lipstick, your eyelashes, your earrings, perhaps a necklace on your collarbones, maybe a body chain, or soft shimmer on your arms, bracelets on your small wrists. What kind of shoes are you wearing? How do you feel in your body? And how does his presence change your breath? Does it make it more shallow and quickened? Does it make it more deep and slow? And now become aware of how you interact with this man who's across the room. Do you move toward him? Do you circle him slowly? Do you turn your full front to him? Or do you turn your back to him? Do you make eye contact? Or do you make sure that he sees you? Are you smiling? Or are you subtle? And then the moment you make eye contact together, what do you do in your body? What happens? Do you lean forward? Do you feel joy? Do you lean back? Do you feel shy? Do you feel powerful and wild? Do you feel dangerous and daring? Do you feel emotional? Just become aware of this experience. Notice what turns on in your body and what takes over. When you feel this drawn to someone, when your body is in a full yes. The wisdom that takes over. Become aware of that wisdom. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. And feeling all of that energy that has built up. It's coursing through your body. All of that tension that is between the two of you. The pull and the press. Or the closeness that has ensued, depending on your vision. Just become aware of what is present. And placing your hands over your heart, and one hand over your heart. Breathe into your heart, filling it up with all of this incredible Shakti force and erotic energy, and holding it there. Holding it in your heart. Not releasing it, just containing it. When you're ready, slowly coming back, taking your time to open your eyes. As you fully come back into this space. So what I want us to do is, as it's still fresh, I would love for you to write in the chat how you interacted with that man. Were you forward with him? Were you flirty with him? Were you warm and inviting with him? Dangerous with him, daring? Were you shy and inviting, or secretive? What did you see? And please write that in the chat. This is the most important thing that we're going to be sharing, because it's going to show us the contrast between all of the ways that we can seduce. I just want to say thank you for everyone who's here. I'm just looking at your names and this moment of pause, just really being present with each of you. It's so special to have you here, and just I respect and honor your decision to spend this time together. I am playful and in the flow with him. Beautiful. And then you can also share what you saw yourself wearing, or if it transformed. I am fully present in my desires with his introduction into the room and my energy field. Beautiful. I keep some distance, stood my ground sort of while keeping eye contact in a way that felt daring to be. I felt a pull, like a craving, and was battling with it a little bit. Beautiful. Red silk dress is what's coming up. Kept making eye contact. It felt dangerous and exciting. My heart was pounding. I was nervous for him to approach, but I was pulling him with my heart space. Daring to me. Yeah. I love the word daring. Yeah. So some people will resonate with that word, and others that will not be their way of seduction. I felt so soft and open. I felt I was melting, a little shy, but also as playful and spicy, regal and graceful. It felt so sacred. I literally felt like a goddess. Oh, gorgeous. Amazing. Yeah. So yeah, noticing what words totally like ignited you. And there's a lot more that we can play with, but it's most powerful for you to just get to know her. This is your unique seductive archetype. But the thing that transverses all of them, all of the seductress expressions, is that she is the one who chooses. She is the one who chooses. And that's a really, really important thing that I want you to get out of this training today, is the seductress is the one who chooses who hunts her, who she invites into her field. And if you haven't chosen a man, then, but you're keeping him in your field, that's okay, as long as you know that you're doing that and you aren't leaking your energy with thoughts of, oh, maybe I should consider him, or is that really what I want? Like, all of those things are going to take away your potency. And the seductress works with potency. That's one of her That's one of the most alluring parts of her, is how potent she is. Okay, so feel free to share more if you would like. So I'm really excited because I want to share next what I have decided I'm going to be doing for just a gift to bring to this community. And if this is an archetype that you are feeling drawn to right now, and you know that she's your edge, she is that missing piece of power that is really the answer to some of your struggles right now, then this is for you. Because hold on one second. So working with the Seductress means a lot to me, because I would say that I kept experiencing pain again and again and again until I was willing to really be the center of a man's attention, to really actually be chosen, to really actually allow myself to own what I really wanted. Until we are willing to master the power that the Seductress holds, which is massive and quite scary, actually. There's a lot of leaky energy in that step 2 of the stages of sex, which really just means it's like the coming together. And that it was that stage where I kept experiencing my power slip away, where I was giving it away in the process of texting and communicating with men, so anxious, when I was so worried that they didn't like me, when I was allowing men in my field that I really wasn't that interested in, all of these things, when I, the pain of just like throwing yourself at men, really, or not throwing yourself, but attaching to men more quickly than was actually appropriate. All of these things are spaces where, when you actually master the Seductress, that does not happen anymore, because the mindset of the Seductress is so different than when you don't have her power activated. You are actually subject to being hurt. But when the Seductress is activated, it's not that you're not vulnerable, but you're no longer dangerously vulnerable. You love yourself so much that it would never be possible for you to be hurt from the old wounds, because you've transformed so much in your mind about who you are and what you're willing to have and not have, that there is this absolute strength that activates in your field, an untouchability of preservation of what is sacred, and that is you. And that's one of the things that the Seductress teaches, is that she is the essence of self-love. So I'm doing a whole series on this, and it's called The Spiritual Practice of Seduction. I also feel incredibly passionate about this because when we recognize the gift that seduction brings the world, the healing properties of seduction, whether we're seducing a baby or a friend or a man, there's different types of seduction, but seduction is where we can actually give the gift of the feminine in the most potent way. And we can work with all of these divine feminine energies that we have activated in the most effective way that the woman was designed to give it, through our sensuality. what we're going to be covering in this series, which is going to be a 5-part training series. Oh my gosh, this is pure gold. It's like you've been talking about my life during the whole training, and I really, really feel a huge shift. Truly feels like all the healing I've done before led me to this moment. Oh my gosh. I really believe this is like the missing piece for so many of us. It's the final edge. It's like the final frontier that there's so much resistance to, because especially as spiritually centered women, purity is so important. Purity meaning purity of heart, purity of intention, not wanting to bring only good. But the problem with that is when we bring only good to people in this world, there's actually times when it hurts us. And it's not only bringing good anymore. And that's something that the Seductress teaches us, is that we have to have an edge, and we must bring our darkness into our relationships at the proper and specific level. It is that darkness, the edginess that it's hard to describe. It's going to be something that we go over in the trainings, but it's a necessary part of cultivating the kind of love that you want, the satisfying, endless, sustainable attentiveness that you get to receive as a woman, that will turn you on for life. So what we're going to be covering in this series, which is going to be a 5-part training series of different training videos, is ultimately what the Seductress teaches us. We are going to be mastering that completely. So we're going to be looking at the line between purity and transparency and intention and strategy. So how to bring our authenticity and transparency in our relationships, but the keys to not giving away too much, because we can't. There actually are things that we're not meant to give away, through our words, through our bodies. And oftentimes when you're so deeply connected to spirit, we want to just kind of share it all and be so transparent and open, but that is a reckless, it's more reckless, and it's not actually effective for creating the divine love that we want. How to create sexual charge and friction effectively. We're going to be covering what to share and what to contain. We are going to be working on that pattern of being pleasing and activating the number one most important emotion to have access to master the Seductress, as well as the number one most important energy to bring forth your superpowers. So those are 2 really important keys that we're going to be covering in the series. As I said, you have to be in touch with your darkness. So getting in touch with the darkness and bringing that forward in a way that is effective. I wrote for you guys, this will be easy for when you are doing the real work. You know the darkness and depth intimately. The problem is most women don't know how to use the energy strategically, and they end up using it in a way that is actually a turnoff. So we're going to be mastering that edge of darkness where you bring just enough that it actually creates eroticism, but it doesn't sabotage the relationship. And this is also something that it's a strategy, and it's a strategy or an intentionality, depending on what word kind of turns you on more. But that's a really, really big piece that the Seductress has mastered, is that depth. We're going to be doing an entire call devoted to fully being in the Tantrika energy. So that'll be our last call. We'll work with the Seductress. So that's stage 2 of sex. And then our last call is going to be working with this Tantrika. And this is something that I feel also really passionate about. I'm not really taught much about it, but the ability to actually channel healing through sex, oral sex, through physical, just sex, all forms of sex, you have the ability to transmute and alchemize energy and heal men, heal your partner. And I haven't talked about this publicly because I don't really know. It's not really my way. It's more, I need to do it intimately, but I'm going to be teaching some techniques that are really, and the thing about being the tantrika is it's more about you being in your full power than it is about him experiencing pleasure. He's going to experience pleasure, but for me, the power of the tantrika is I experience my power. I experience my full potential as a woman. And it comes out probably more in sex than any other part of my life, but again, that's why we're going to be spending some time on it, because like you guys are here working on stepping into your full power, and we have to, at a certain point that like at a certain point we can't not work with the sexual. We have to, because it is such a big part of our potential as women. Okay. We're also going to be looking at the light and dark sides of the seductress and why they're both necessary. We're mastering the 3 stages of sex. So we're actually going to be working with all of those 6 archetypes, because we're also going to be calling in the ability to really create that. All of those men, so many men being in your field, wanting you, fighting for your attention, wanting to court you, asking you to choose them. But then also building up that strength to really trust yourself and know what is for you and what's not for you, so you can feel safe in any situation. We're going to be mastering communication with men. This is huge. This is key. We're going to be taking those mistakes that most women are making, where we're kind of like taking feminine energy too far, in the sense of it gets us in our head and we stop being humans. So we're going to drop back into the heart and really learn how to, some of the things that a lot of women don't understand about men, that are like principles to, once you learn this about men, your anxiety will alleviate, your trust will grow, your compassion will strengthen toward them, and your respect as well. So there's a lot to learning these communication techniques for men. And like I said, the number 1 most effective energy to embody, as well as the number 1 most important emotion to be able to access if you want to do this successfully. There's a lot more that we're going to be working on, but you will have many men fighting for your attention, wanting to court you, pursue you, providing for you. And that's going to happen through the archetypes, like I said. And then that the spiritual practice of seduction, that's our main thing that we're focusing on. So we're really stepping into the spiritual gift that we bring to the world when we provide this feminine superpower. It is absolutely a gift. It's what everyone craves to experience. And we're going to learn how to do it, not just for men, but to every relationship in our life, every intimate interaction, we have the power to seduce. And that is, in my opinion, at this point, that is the sign of the maturation of the feminine. It's harnessing that sexual power at a physical level, but with the depth of spirit, which is why you guys are the most sacred beings and women that could bring this forward, because I trust who you are on that spiritual level. I know the depth that you go to, and I know how pure and sacred your energy is. So we're going to put these 2 pieces together, and I think you're going to feel more confident than you've ever felt in your whole life. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the program and just like the nuts and bolts of it, so you can decide if you want to do it. It's crazy what I'm doing. It's kind of, So you're going to be getting a one-on-one healing intensive with me. I'm going to make it 40 minutes. And these healing intensives, I haven't talked about what I really do as a healer much at all, partly because it's taken me a while to really accept what I am doing. And, but healing is the primary purpose. I'm here working with individuals, and healing the collective wounds is a bigger superpower of mine than probably anything else that I I do, but it's so scary that I haven't really fully owned it yet, but I've been working behind the scenes with people, and I'm just now beginning to talk about it because I don't even know how really. So, but I'm in the process of coming out with this as a public offering and inviting people into those sessions and into that experience with me. So we're gonna, everyone who joins this program is gonna have a one-on-one with me. Another reason I'm doing this is because I've discovered and decided that with my business, Elevated Woman, I want intimacy more than I want growth. I trust that the people that are here are potent. I'm working with potency. I don't need to reach the masses. I need to reach the people who find this space and seek it out and want to study this and want to become their most powerful version of themselves truly. That's what we're here doing. And it's serious and committed, deep, pure work. So with that, I have more space to create those intimate relationships. And I've also discovered that it's through that intimacy with my clients that I actually feel the most satisfaction. Those of my clients that I've worked with one-on-one, to this day, I still connect to, whether it's, a couple times a year or once every other month. My clients check in with me and I hear from them and I'm a part of their lives, or more frequently if I'm working with them, obviously. But there's a space in my heart for all of those individuals who I've worked with intimately. And that is what is satisfying, is knowing you by name, knowing where you live, knowing about your love life, knowing about your passions. That's what I have realized is the best way I can connect to this community. So that's part of why I'm including this one-on-one call, is because I really want to build more of that intimate connection with my clients, because I do a lot of these group trainings, but I'm in honor of just, connecting on an intimate level. That's my intention moving into this year and beyond. Okay, so that's going to be part of it. You're also getting the Spiritual Practice of Seduction, which is the 5-part series. And this is where we're mastering the stages, the second stage of sex, that's seduction. We're going to work on the first stage as well a lot, but really, really stepping into the spiritual practice of seduction and why it's so important and why it is such a gift to give to the world and to yourself, because of the power and confidence that you will feel knowing these superpowers. If you know, you know, is what I can say about that. Let's see. It is the women who have done the work who get to have this skill, to bring both depth and physicality together to transform the world and no longer feel lost without it. So we are closing that gap and healing that little piece that's been missing so that you can truly have this level of confidence in your life. Okay, so that's the core offering that I am offering. So that's the core offering, is the 5 trainings and the one-on-one call. This weekend until Tuesday at midnight, I'm also including a handful of incredible bonuses. So you may have been seeing me share about the divine masculine activations, and that's going to be included in the full program, this bonus program, the divine masculine activations, where we're going into activating the different masculine archetypes of the hunter, the provider, the protector, the supporter, and the leader. Part of why I'm doing the Seductress and offering it at the price that I'm going to offer, which I'll tell you at the beginning or at the end, which is crazy, and including this divine masculine activations, is I cannot explain how important these divine masculine activations are, because they are what give us insight into the mind, heart, and body of man, to experience masculinity in a way where we absolutely revere men And it's through that we heal the world. We have to respect man in order for the world to change. And we have to understand and activate true, pure, divine masculine energy in order to call that out of them. It's such a gift to give your partner to know this. And it's such a gift to give men, if you're not in a relationship yet, to hold the imprint of their power in your body. And another thing that this shows us is it gives us the language to communicate to them that speaks to their heart. Because when you speak to them from the language of the hunter or the provider or the leader, and you use the language that activates and sparks their heart, they will feel so seen. And by feeling seen, they will feel so much incredible safety and trust with you, which is a big part of creating that intimacy that is ultimately fulfilling for us. Also, it is the next stage of growth of our world that the masculine rises, and you get to be these activators. Okay. So, and then the last thing that I'm offering is actually a single activation, the Divine Wife archetype. This is from my intensive training called Divinity. And my activation on the Divine Wife got deleted. Unfortunately, it was so powerful. So I needed to redo it. And I'm like, well, I want as many people there as possible, because the Divine Wife, the activation itself is designed, it's going to be longer. It's designed to, I want all of you to have everything that you want and desire. And a lot of what we're doing in Elevated Woman is navigating and traversing a path that no one has explored before. So this is where you get to be in a relationship that you desire, but you get to be a wife. You get to be in partnership with a man where you get to stay in your seductive, feminine, sensual, receptive frequencies the whole time. You get to get what you need, what you want, what you require, in a way where you feel that polarity and you maintain that sexual chemistry, and you have an influence in your relationship, but you do so in a way that only builds more attraction from your partner. Yeah, it's called the Divine Wife. Okay. Okay, so all of these put together is the value of all of these put together is over $2,000. I added it up, I forgot. I think it's like 2,197 or something like that. Today, through Tuesday, 1 second, at midnight. 1 second. Is going to be on sale and available for a select number of people. There are limited availability for this at $497. If you were here today, I'm making it actually just for the people that you want to buy within the next 24 hours. I'm adding an additional $100 off for the people who are just on my email list, not on Instagram. If you're here or you're on my email list, you'll also get an additional $100 off. So it's $397. There's a payment plan, which brings it down to a little over $100 if you want to do the payment plan for 3 payments as well. But I want this to be so incredibly accessible because these 2 trainings are so important for this world right now. On Tuesday at midnight, the training goes up to $1,300, and all of the bonuses are excluded. So you won't be able to get the Divine Masculine activations. You will not be able to get the Divine Wife archetype. You will still be able to get the one-on-one call with me and the Spiritual Practice of Seduction, which is the 5-part series, but it will be $1,300, and that's only if there's still spots available. Because I'm including the one-on-one with me, I can't, there are limited spots for it. So that's why I'm doing it that way. But I'm making it, so it'll literally be $397 for the next 24 hours. After that, it'll be at $497 until Tuesday at midnight. The Divine, Okay, so I'm trying to think of what else. All the bonuses will be included until Tuesday, and then those go away and you will not be able to have access to them. The reason I'm doing this is I want to pull our men up. I'm ready for us to feel so much trust in the masculine, to not have the resentment that we carry. I'm ready for men to be seen for the gifts that they bring, because it's phenomenal what they bring, but we have to become the women that bring it out of them. We must take responsibility of the areas where we're in our pain and in our wounds, and be willing to transform in such a way where we truly inspire them back into their greatness. So this is our edge as a community, in my opinion. This is our edge as a tribe, as a cohort, as these beings and leaders on the spiritual path. This is an edge, and it is one of the biggest keys that's going to take all of this transformation and awakening that we've done really to the next level. So I'm going to put the link here and I'll send these out in an email with the replay. But if you guys want to get in now, I'm putting the link, at least so you can copy and paste it in for the $397 price, and you'll be able to see what it works out to be if you are wanting to do a payment plan. Okay, so it's yeah. I might change that. I'm not sure. So I'm going to go in after this and I might change the payment plan option just a little bit to lower it just a bit. I may do that. But so give me like 10 minutes if you need to do that. But this is available only for 24 hours at the extra $100 off rate. And that's only available for people who are on my email list. Yeah, that are on my email list, and also yeah, so that's only available for the people that are on my email list and here live or watching on the replay within the next 24 hours. Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments on this? Another reason I'm doing this is because I have anger. I have anger about the archetype that I love and resonate with so much. Okay, awesome. Yes. I'm sad. I'm sad for the pain that we've gone through by not being willing to embrace and give ourselves permission to own this side of us. Really, this call, if anything, another thing that I really hope that you get away from this specific call is just igniting the permission that you can give yourself to unleash the seductress and sexual archetype within you, because it is what we are built. We are built this way for a reason. And if there's like that conditioning that makes you suppress it, it's not helping. And it's the thing that's making you vulnerable in unhealthy and dangerous ways. You get to still be vulnerable, obviously, but not vulnerable without this archetype alive and active. She is actually what keeps you protected. And we're going to dive into all of that through the training. This power needs to be in your hands. If there's any woman in the world who should be holding this power, it's you. And I think that you know that. Okay. So awesome. Take down that, copy and paste that link and give me 5 minutes. I'm going to adjust the payment plan just a little bit once I hop off with you guys. But I just want to say thank you for being here. And I know that I had 150 women sign up. Over 150 women signed up I just sent out 2 emails and it was like within 3 days. So this is really an important topic. And I just feel so grateful to be bringing it forward and also to be mastering it. It's so fun. It's so fun. So I look forward to going on this journey with you if you decide to join. And the Hunter activation is happening this upcoming week. We're going to start this soon. We're going to start on Thursday next week. We're going to start this series on Thursday next week. We're starting on Thursday, and the Hunter is happening, I believe, on Tuesday. And we're going to actually go into a really, really fun dynamic of chase and play with the Hunter and the Seductress archetype actually in that training. So if you guys join this, you'll be able to jump into the Hunter archetype. We've only done one training live, and that's also really exciting, as you guys will get to be able to pretty much attend all of these live. So that's happening, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that activation. But I think with that said, I will hop off, and I am just so grateful for you, and thank you for being here. All right, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.